What would you say your values are and how they drive you in your
Values?
I
get asked that question.
Top five?
It's a tough one.
Top five, maybe, because we had what was our first few days or whatever, we had an exercise on our top.
It's a tricky question. I mean, values are a crutch. I think, obviously, if you're investing, you want to make money. So that's a terrible value to say, but shareholder value is the key to our business. If you can't create shareholder value, it's unfortunately in the eyes of the investors, it's a failure. Okay? Beyond that one, that is, without lying, that is the number one value. Can you put together a team that does this investment create shareholder value? If I do put in $1 at some point, I'd like to get my money back, or I'd like to make some money on that investment. Number two is obviously when you invest in startups, there's slippage. You goes for dinner, the plane is an extra buck the last minute to go to a key sales meeting. These are all things that aren't in a budget. So the only value that I can have is when I send an entrepreneur money. Is there a risk of fraud or cheating? So obviously that's the number one value to me is, can I reduce the, I know what type of person I am, but it's very important to me, the communication. So that value of treating investors' money with respect, that's what I hope to find, and that's my number one value. If someone gives me their money, is I'm going to make mistakes, I'm going to hire the wrong person, I'm going to overpay for this, I'm going to I'm choosing between speed and money all the time, the time value of money. But when it comes to the end of the day, I'm adding it all up and I'm giving you a pretty good accounting of where we've spent, knowing that there's slippage. So the number one value is what I expect in other investors. Are they going to treat my money with respect? The other three or four don't really matter because everything goes out the window if those things are done, because everybody's wasting each other's time if that hasn't happened. And for me, the other value that if someone gives me their money is, I'm not going to steal it. I'm pretty confident. It doesn't mean someone else could be committing fraud, but it's my job to uncover that, and it's very difficult. Second thing is, can I deliver a return beyond just returning their capital? And that's part game, part the business that we're in. Anything beyond that, I don't know if there's five. Those two can muck up everything.
Already had downsizing.
Yeah, we're pretty close.
We gotta just hit how many other key points do you guys think of?
Good question.
I guess in terms of leadership, especially in an investment situation, have you what's been the hardest part for you in terms of staying motivated? What has there been anything that sort of got you to the point where you're really thinking, maybe I need to just pack this life in and move on to something else?
Excellent. There's different theories. Some people say 5 years, you've got 7 years. I don't know. I mean, I've been married 19 years, so I'm sure I felt like packing in. I'm sure my wife felt like packing in it more. So I think that's the biggest one. Then there's your kids, which you're going to be stuck with, in love with, fighting with their whole lives. So those are you can't pack it in. I mean, you can, but those are the biggest repercussions. Your parents, your brothers and sisters, your wife, your kids. Okay, so putting those four aside, I think we're talking about, but they'll teach you the most.
Yeah.
And some of those are like the Trading Places movie, genes versus environment. So I think the most important thing is to find good, really important to find good. Most families are screwed up, so you've got to find some mentor to help you through those things. And the earlier you do that, the better. Those habits will come back to haunt you. All your family habits, and your parental and genetic habits, are stuff that you have to get into control, which is never talked about. Which, I feel that's a neglected subject that carries more weight through all business than anything else. But assuming you don't mean that, you mean how do I get through it every day? I think the honest answer is I don't. Some days I just don't work. Even though I feel like I'm working, because I'm not in the mood to work, I'm doing busy work and confusing activity with progress. So I think it's really important for people to have routines and then, check those routines. For me, the stock market, it opens every day at 9:30 Eastern and it closes at 4 p.m. Eastern. So there is that routine of it all. I can do what I want, and I have to build around that framework. So I think some people don't want any routine. I love that routine, and it's over 20 years of doing it. When I don't feel like doing it, I can obviously, it's just a communication thing. I'm going to take a week off, recharge my batteries. It could be golf, could be running, could be a new project, but expect to get bored and expect, especially they call it through the chat. You know, if you start a business after the first couple of years, there's that really hard part. Where you've got to just, are we going to do this for 10 years? A lot of startups today think they're going to get bought. In my world, or think they really have a passion. But things are so new, the phones are so new, and this software boom is so new, people don't really know their true passion. And so I think it's really important to just be true to those why you're starting a business, why you're choosing this path, and understand that it's going to be bumpy and you're going to get bored along the way, and I would expect depending on how hard you're working, every 6 months to a year, you're going to need some downtime to really think about what's next.
Anything else?
Any last minute advice for a classroom full of graduating seniors going into the world where they're trying to be leaders?
Yeah. Advice. My advice is, I think if you look at the game of online poker and see the boom that there is. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or man, or 18 or 40, or a billionaire, or with your last $5. It took off because anybody could play anybody at any time of the day. You didn't see who you were playing against. And in the real world, a lot of this is poker too. The other side of the table knows just as little as you do, or they know so much that they're overconfident, but nobody knows everything. So I think you have to learn to take these baby steps and realize that just like in The Wizard of Oz, once they met the wizard, it was like, wizard's a pain, the wizard's a weird dude. And so I think the more baby steps that you take and just peel back the curtains and realize that, hey, it's not so great on the other side of the mountain. There's no green light, red light, or perfect answers. And so live your life accordingly. Once you make that step and are successful, to look back at the other people and realize it is a game of poker, it is a game of odds and gamesmanship. But there's constantly other stuff ahead of you. And that knowing that, if you're 20 and just graduating, the person 25 with a job has taken that one next step, may not be the great step, but there's no, you've got to learn by these little steps as you go. And to take comfort in the fact that nobody really has the answers. Otherwise, online poker wouldn't exist in that way, and other games where you can climb to the top.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to come out here and speak with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, and if you would like to see the video or anything, we can definitely send you a copy of that.
Yeah, when you edit it, you'll send me something.
Okay. And then I forget the exact date we're presenting, but later in May. If you want to, we can let you know that too.
One, I think.
If you'd like to, come in or something like that.
Where's the class at? Well, you'll email.
It's at San Diego State. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm comfortable watching myself, but, but
yeah,
if
we'll be
people
giving
like it, I can come in.
We'll be giving a presentation and
what's the presentation on?
essentially,
how many other leaders have you talked to?
Usually they just want one leadership interview, and so that way the class has a diverse sort of list of leaders from different areas of the of the world, business world, or outside of the business world, and so we just she wants a wide variety, so that way when we put you up there,
You define all the stuff that I've done, and then you can package it any way you want from my blog and websites.
Okay.
So that they have some kind of frame of reference.
And we'll make sure to send you your our pre-edited copy and everything like that, so that you can sign off on it. We don't want to present you in a light that you wouldn't want to be presented in.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I'm never worried about that.
Okay, well, we just want to make sure that we're treating you as a person.
Thanks, Howard.
All right.
Appreciate it.
I'm just gonna grab breakfast.